I have a cute little project for you. It's a little, kind of a, I'm going to say a little box. Well, it is a little box, but I'm going to say it's something that I think that you could use for, those little, you know how you need little treats during the holiday season? You might be thinking, the mailman, the delivery guy, the bank teller, maybe the people who clean your house. I don't know. I'm just thinking of different things. List some other things. Little things. Who do you give little gifts to? The guy who brings your milk. Do you have your milk delivered? I do not, but my friends in town do. But out in the country, I don't. But there's always someone stopping by, or you need a little gift. So I think that this box, and just pay attention. Don't have to take notes. I'm actually have a full tutorial for you that I'll post on the video when we get done. So no problem. And you guys haven't had any lagging problems. It looks like everything's going good there. So let's go ahead and get started with that. I'm going to bring in my cutting scoring tool. So what you need for this, we're going to use, let me show you first. I'm sorry, I'm getting off ahead of myself. We're going to use Arctic Bears. Okay, so this is Arctic Bears is a wonderful winter set, but people are thinking Christmas, Christmas. It's really not Christmas. This is a great winter set. This will take you through the winter, and what fabulous greetings. So thank you. We're going to use a thank you today with two simple words filled with warmth and gratitude. Thank you. Just telling everybody thank you for what they do. So the customer service, or anything that they're doing, for you, that you just want to give them a little treat. Thinking of you, my heart is with you every step of the way, you and me. So it could be just for you and your spouse or your significant other. But it's a nice winter set. So look at some of the dies that come with it. Not only is there one that cuts and embosses, but here's one that you can stamp. You can stamp this little guy here and then cut them. Then there's like icicles and a glacier. We're going to use that today. Here's for some water you can cut out. Here's if you just want the top of the water, and then this big polar bear here. And then like a moon, or I guess a sun. So depending, right? So this is fantastic. There's 8 dies. There's the polar bear dies and the Arctic bear dies. Arctic bear stamps. So I do know that these dies, I don't know if there's, as far as I know, they're still available, but these dies are going away, and they're on sale right now for 50% off. I'm pretty sure. I didn't bring my paper over here. All of a sudden I'm having a thought that I think these are 50%, they're $15. So if you like this set, and it'll get you through winter, if you didn't sign up for the at home, the Arctic Bears at home, then you might want to get online and snag that right now. So I've got a new host code. I'm going to put it up right now just for a second. There's a host code for December. Remember that if you use the host code in December, that you will receive, and on the beginning of January 1st or 2nd, you'll receive 6 tutorials in your email. So just as a thank you from me for your order. These have been very popular, and I've enjoyed doing them for you. So if you need something, there's some things that are on sale. There's a clearance rack refresh. So you might just check those things out. And there's the host code right there. And I'll post it again later. But let's get started with the project. So to do this little box, you're going to need a quarter of a sheet of paper. So if you're not sure, like I said, I have a tutorial that I will post the link for. As soon as I get this get done, I'll put it in the top of this video. So look for it there, or I'll put it in the comments too. So you have it in both places. A quarter of a sheet of paper is 5.5 by 4.25. Okay. So what you're going to do, and I'm going to get my little cheat sheet out here so that I can see and make sure I'm doing it right. On the 5.5 side, the long side, I'm going to get my cutting blade out of the way. I'm going to put this up so you can see the bottom of my scorer. And yes, of course, as usual, I do use it upside down. You're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. And I like to do that on my left side and then turn it around, because it's hard for me to get it under here and hold that down. It's easier for me to have the bulk of the paper here to score it here. That's just my tip here. So let me get that out of the way. Oh, come on, little paper. There we go. All right, so you're going to score it at 3.5. Then I like to flip it around. you're going to score it at, or 3/4. I'm sorry, 3/4. And like I said, don't write this down. Just pay attention to what I'm doing. 2.5, 3 1/4, and 5. So you're going to be able to get 4 boxes out of one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. 4 boxes. So Tanya says she doesn't have a cleaning crew, so she gets to give it to herself and her husband. Good deal. I didn't have a cleaning crew this week. They were supposed to come yesterday and they bailed on me, so they're coming on Tuesday. Then you're going to rotate your paper on the 4 1/4 side. You're going to score it again at 3/4 of an inch on both sides. So then I just flip it and 3/4 of an inch on this side. All right, so we are done with our cutting tool. Now we need to bring out another cutting tool, and that's our snips. Okay, so you're going to do some cuts on this, and what you're going to do is you're going to cut up on all these flaps. That's your first step. I'm making sure you can see. Cut up on all these flaps. So you can see about what the size of the box is. It's just perfect for a little bit of candy. How about some tea, a little bag of hot cocoa, some mints, anything, just anything. This flap here, we are going to remove, and this is going to be my front, so I'm going to actually do it on a little bit of an angle. And I'm just going to remove these pieces here. So that's the front of my box. That's the part that's going to tuck in. When I do these flaps, I like to also do those on a little bit of an angle. And I'm just moving my pieces out of the way. Because that way when I fold my box up, if you have questions, ask me. When I fold my box up, by doing it on an angle like that, then those flaps are out of the way. They're not stuck. They're not sticking up if I get them wrong. But on these flaps, I want to make sure these sides stay straight. These 4 sides stay straight. And you'll see why in a minute. Then you're going to take a small, a small circle punch. We all have one. And then you're going to just punch out a little thumb hole out of the one that's 3/4 of an inch. There's a 1/2 inch and there's 3/4. You want to punch it out of the 3/4 inch, okay? So now we're going to do a little bit of just folding. I want to make sure. I'm sorry. When I pull it towards myself, then I forget you can't see it. The part with the little flap here is the bottom of the box, and that's the part we're going to assemble. And then this is the top, and that's the part we're going to decorate. So let's do our decorating, okay? And I'm going to show you what I'm doing with this polar bear set, this Arctic bears. I'm going to start by using some Post-it notes and just taping off my front because I want to add a little bit of color. You can see I've done it before. And this way, I can just duplicate this over and over again. I'm going to use some Pacific Point ink, and I'm going to use my Post-it note as my starting place. And then I just want a little bit of darker blue sky. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a little. Just like that. That's all. See, just a little. Then I can remove my Post-it notes, and I've got a nice clean front of my box right there. Though let's go ahead and get started with some stamping. I'm going to use basic gray for all my stamping, and I want to stamp the word thank you right on the front top of my box. I'm going to say thank you, and then I'm going to add some birds into the sky. This is my sky here. What you could do it, you could keep your Post-it note on if you want, and you could throw your birds up kind of like that, and then it's nice and clean, so it's just right up in the box, so it looks like you know what you're doing. We always want to look like we know what we're doing. And then here's just a little bit of the water's edge, and you'll see why I'm doing that. So I'm done with my stamping. No, I'm not done with my stamping. The inside of my box right here, so here's this. Flip it over. I'm going to stamp the greeting that says 2 simple words filled with warmth and gratitude so that when they open their box, they have my message. And then I can sign my name right there, Mary Ellen, or whatever I want to write on it. Okay, so there's that. So let's go ahead and finish decorating. What I did was I took the dies. Remember I said I was going to use this little glacier one. I cut it out of vellum. So this cuts it and gives it a little bit of a score. Did I lose everybody? I don't see any comments, so I'm guessing maybe I'm frozen. But that's okay. I'm going to keep recording, and if it is, I will throw it up later. So it scores and cuts, and this is my little glacier. I'm going to put it right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of Stampin' Seal Plus on it. That kind of gets hidden, and I'm going to just adhere it here, and that's okay. It hangs over just a little. We're going to trim that off when we put our box together. Then I cut out a polar bear right here out of the paper that is let's see, did I bring that paper over here? I've got it. Oh yeah, here it is. This paper is snowy white velvet sheets. They're 12 by 12 snowy white velvet sheets. And so I cut this polar bear out of here, and I'm going to put him on the glacier. But I wanted to show you that you could stamp on it too. So I stamped this little polar bear here, and I could cut him out. I did have one cut out. Oh, here he is. So that you could see that he could get cut out. So I just stamped him in basic gray on the flock. So this is really soft. I could just feel that all day long. All right, so we want him to be popped up. So we're going to use a dimensional here, a big dimensional on his hind end, and we're going to use a small mini on his little noggin right there. All right, so we'll add him popped up before we close our box. That way we can put him right where we want him. We don't want to cover up our thank you. We don't want to cover up our birds. We want him standing on the glacier. And then I can fold this flap right like this and take my snips and just give it a cut like that. So now I've got rid of that. Don't throw this away. Use this for your next one, okay? You can use this for your next one. So now I'm going to put my box together. When you're doing a box, you always want to use either tear and tape, something strong, or Stampin' Seal Plus, something that's strong, or liquid glue. So I'm going to use Stampin' Seal Plus, and these are the flaps. Whoops. If you go too heavy, sometimes it'll just tear your paper, but there's a fix for it. Just go back and go light. So now I'm going to fold those up and form the bottom of my box. Okay. So here I'm just lining those up, forming the bottom of my box. Now, before I close this up, I'm going to just take my snips and cut this off. Okay. It just makes it a little bit easier to go in nice and flush. And then these I can also trim on an angle. I like to trim as much as I can on an angle. I didn't want to trim these side boxes because then they would look odd. But these flaps, anything that's going to be folded in, go ahead and trim. So now I'm going to stick my little treat in there. And look how cute this little box is. Now, you could add, I didn't bring any over here, but I would probably add, just because it's me, I would add a rhinestone or two. I would add a little twinkle or a little snowflake or rhinestone. There's all kinds of things that you could add to this. This is just a little thank you. Put some money in there. What a nice way to give your someone that you does things for you throughout the year. Put a little bit of cash in there for them. So that is a little box. And like I said, I'm going to be giving you the tutorial for that. So no worries. It's going to be linked in the comments. So I'm sorry that I lost you. I'm going to go ahead and put this up, and I will cut it out just to have the tutorial part. But I really appreciate you joining me. Again, here is my code right now. Remember that when you use that, I will send you a tutorial at the beginning of the next following month. So at the end of the month, I collect them all, and then I send that tutorial with 6 different projects in it to your inbox. So Look for those if you use that host code. So you guys have a great weekend. Sorry that I lost you and couldn't talk to you, but I promise that I'll post this up. This is just the nature of the beast for now. And I know that it happens to a lot of people, but it is a little unsettling, and I apologize for that. So you guys have a great week, and I appreciate you. Thank you for coming to Create with me. Bye, everybody.